Assalamu alaikum. We continue with constructors and how to create constructors and different types of constructors, and when do we need to create extra constructors and why. So let's go quickly here. We already covered most of this part, and constructor is a way to instantiate an object from a class. If you do not create any constructor, Java will create a default constructor for you. The default constructor is a constructor that takes no parameters. Do you agree? Tamam? So a default constructor is a constructor that takes no parameters. This is a circle. And what constructor do you see here? This constructor is called what? Default constructor. The one you see here. Look at it. Does it take any parameters? And actually, if this is the only constructor in your class, then no need to create it. Java will do a default one for you. But 95% of the time you need to create. So how to create a new circle object then? A new what? And why here there is nothing in the parentheses? Because the constructor, our constructor, takes no what? No values. Tamam. Right. This is a circle. And this is what? And this is another class called what? Look, the first two are parameterless, like default constructors. But the third one, this one, it takes how many attributes? And both are what? String. So to create a new student, you must provide two strings, yes or no? To create a new triangle object, no need to provide anything. To create a new circle object, no need to provide anything. This is the circle. Default constructor. Java creates a default constructor in this class. No need to create your own. Okay, this is a default constructor here. Let's look at the triangle. Same thing, you have a default constructor. How to use it? Just new triangle, new circle, and we explained this. So here you created an object called what? T1. It's a triangle object. And here you created an object called what? C1, which is a circle object. Not all the time your constructors will be parameterless. Most of the time, you need to provide a parameterized constructor. Look at this now. What do you see, Ashabab? What's this constructor? Is it a default? Does it take parameters? What's the data type of parameter? Double. If you create a parameterized constructor, is the default constructor going to be available for you? No. You need to explicitly provide it. So now, how to create a new circle object? A new circle, and you must provide a double value here for the, yes, see here? You cannot use the default constructor anymore. 4.7 will be given to which data member of the class? Radius. Can you use the default constructor in this case? No. Look at this rectangle. Is there a default constructor? No. So how to create one? You need to provide two doubles. And as you see here, one will go to the width and the other will be given to the length. Can you create a T object like this? No. Okay, what about this now? How many constructors you have in the circle? One and what? When you have multiple constructors, what do we call it? Constructor what? Overloading. And if you are asking yourself, why do I need more than one constructor? You need. Because creating objects sometimes will be using one variable, sometimes more than one, sometimes you don't have the variable. So you need to provide the user with multiple ways how to instantiate objects from your classes. So now, what's constructor overloading? Providing multiple constructors in the same class. Is this gonna work now in this class? Yes. Is this gonna work now? خلاص ماشي الحال. What do we call this when we have multiple constructors? Overloading. Look at university student now. First one is parameterless, right? Second one takes, and third one takes what? Okay. Uni student U1. Type for U1. How many attributes we have? String F name, string what? L name, and what? Age. When you create a U1 object from the Uni student class, what will be the values of those attributes in the beginning? No. If it's a numerical value, it will be what? 0. If it's a Boolean, it will be what? False. If it's an object, like string is an object, is a class, it will be null. Until you provide values. فاهمين علي? You see what I'm saying? يعني, if you create a uni student this way, string F name and L name will be null. Null, nothing, and you cannot use it. Integer age will be what? 0, because it's a numerical value. If it's a Boolean, it will be what? False. Okay. Now look at the second constructor. University student U2. Khalid Suleiman. Does that make sense? So now first name will be null or Khalid. Last name will be Suleiman or null. But still the GPA will remain what? 0. But this one, you provided what we call this type. All the attributes are given in the constructor, yes or no? If all the attributes of a class are given in the constructor, then we call it fully parameterized constructor. Yani you are providing all the data members, all the attributes with their initial values in the constructor, all of them. Is this a fully parameterized constructor? No, because GPA is not there, right? The last one is. ماشي الحال. طيب, يلا, we need to do this now. Look at this code. Do you see some duplicate code here? This is important. Do you see some duplicate code? Yes. In Java, duplicate code is a big problem. We don't duplicate code. Tamam? So how can we avoid code duplications? In this case, we will use what we call constructor what? Chaining يعني سلسلة. طيب, سلسلة. You know the problem, which is what called code duplication. Code duplication, ya shabab, is not only more work, no. Sometimes accuracy. Sometimes you forget and change the code in one place and you forget to change it where. So do not allow user to change logic of your business in multiple places. طيب, look at this. راح أرجعها. Do you see it? Look how we can use what we call constructor what ya shabab? Chaining. Yalla now. See? I want you to look here and here. Type. Look. The constructor that takes two attributes here. Student, last, and what? Okay? But this one takes only what? And this one takes what? Type. Let us say you use the second constructor, this one. So what will be given only? First and last name, صح? Type. And if you use this one, this will be given to first and last name. Type. What if you use this one? Look, I want you to pay attention to this. See what happens here. What do you see, the first line? This, what? First and what? What is the data type of first and what's the data type of last? Yes, shabab. In the constructor, if you say this, it means you are calling another constructor. You get this. In the constructor, if you say this, you are calling another constructor. So this first last, which constructor takes two strings? Second one. So this way you are calling the second constructor with what? And the second constructor will give first value to which data member? And last to which data member? Then it will set what? Yeah. Did we avoid duplication? Fine. Look at the last constructor now. How many we have here? 4. Right. What's the first line in the last constructor? This what? String, string, double. This is how I want you how to think. Which constructor takes string, string, double? The third one. So which values will be given to the third constructor? First, last, and GBA. So the third constructor receives them. So in order to set the first and last, the third constructor will call which one? And this one, once it finishes, it comes back, and this one will set what? And once everything is done here, this constructor will set also what? Do you see any code duplication? You could say, okay, so 2 lines, I could have done it. Tamam. But sometimes, ya shabab, there will be a lot of validation logic in processing the values. So it's not always going to be 1 line or 2 lines. Sometimes there'll be a lot of validation logic. So what you do here now? So the way you process 2 names is going to be in which constructor? 2 names and double. It's going to be where? 2 names and double and string. So the fourth will use the third. The third will use the second. Is there any code duplication? Does that make sense? So if you call the fourth constructor, the fourth will call what? The third will call the fourth. Once the second finishes, the third will continue and set the GBA. Do you agree? Once it finishes, this one will go and do what? This is called what? Constructor what? When constructors call each other to avoid code what? Duplication. This is very core practice of object-oriented programming. Go ahead. Yeah, of course. Usually, the less one will be in top, the more one will be low. Tamam? It makes sense and logical also. Tamam? Fine. So now, if I go back here, look here, you will see that if you call the last one, it will call the second will call what? Now let me go and do some example. Tamam? Let me go and do some example. What was the code here? You see this? I will take this code. ماشي الحال. Do you agree? This is the class, and I'll paste the code here. And in order to get it organized, I need to say sourced what? Format. So my code is what? Is formatted. ماشي الحال. طيب. Which one is this? Default. Okay. Is this one default or parameterized? Parameterized. Is this one default or parameterized? And I think there is something missing here, which is which method? Set GBA. When I just copied the code from here, which was not complete, but okay, I'll just make a method called what? Set GBA. Tamam. So let me just work with the code here and try to find if we can do something better than that. Type set GBA. I'll just make I think there is a problem here, صح? Let me call GBA, صح? And I will not call GBA. I'll say G. I'll do, sorry, here I'll do it G, and now I'll say GBA is equal to what? G. Do you agree with this, ya shabab? Any problem? So, and I need to close the class here. So the code is fine now. Can I create a unit test now? Yes. Including the email. This one does not have, sah? Yeah. So he wants the one that exactly like in the slides. He wants what? The email. And here I'll say what? String what? email, and here I will say what? Or here I call mail. You will know why I'm using different names. Email, wait, email is equal to what? But this one, what should I do now here? This, what? First, comma, last. So خلاص, I will be calling which one now? This one. And GBA. طب what about this one? This, first, comma, last, comma, what? G اسمه صح? Right? And the mail will be set in this one, handled here. Does that make sense, يا شباب? So now each constructor calls the previous one. صح ولا لا؟ ماشي؟ طب let me just add a method. I will add a method here, public. Look at this method. Public void. What's void, يا شباب? It does not return anything. Okay? Show me. What's the name of the method? بس خلاص. Do you know what the method is going to do here? Very simple thing, huh? Just display the values. تمام? What's the... Okay, what I'm going to do here? Last. What? Last name. النيم صح؟ comma ولا plus في ال... I'm coming from Python class. Space. And what here now? F name صح? Right? And what now? Plus, sorry. And what? Plus GBA plus space and plus what? Email. ماشي الحال. So now we will go to student test. I'll create a new application class stu test. Does that make sense? With a main method. يلا. Uni student u1 is equal to new what? Uni student. Do I have a default constructor? Is this valid?
Yes.
تمام. But all the values will be what? Null and zero. Do you want to make sure, huh? What should I do now? u1 dot, what method I made? Show me. صح ولا لا? Show me will do a sys out. Null, zero, null. يعني ما كنت بضحك عليكم صح ولا لا؟ Strings are all what? Null. تمام. يلا I'll use another one here. u2. I will provide two strings. Two strings will go to the second instructor, right? So here I'll say Steve and comma jobs. Does that make sense? And then I'll say u2 dot show me. Excellent. Here run. Steve jobs 0 and what? Now okay, so now I'll call the third constructor. صح ولا لا? I will call the third constructor and I'll say ايش اسمك صديقي؟ time ايش؟
نعم
خلاص اوكي. طيب وتايم الجي بي اي تبعه ما شاء الله بسم الله تبارك الله كم؟ تمام. So now which constructor is being used by time? And the third constructor here is going to call which constructor? The second, صح? This one. And he will set the GBA. صح ولا لا? So if I do output now, وين كنا احنا? Here, U3. So do you see the difference now? Now what's remaining? One constructor is remaining, صح? Which is everything, huh? تمام. Good. I create a fourth object using the fourth constructor here. Okay. And this is Bill Gates. تمام. Bill Gates انطرد من الجامعة. So it's going to be 2.0. And his email is bill@live.com. ماشي. And this is Java. So this needs to be what? Double quote. So if I output the last one here, u4.showme, and hopefully this example explained what is constructor overload and constructor chaining. Does that make sense, ya shabab? Now, of course, you can set the values and change them, but I'm showing you how constructors can work with each other. So done with constructor with this nice example. Let's go to the next topic, which is access modifiers. طيب. Access modifiers, public, default, private, what? What's this? You decide
If another method,
if something is visible only inside the class or inside the package or outside the package. By using public, private, protected, you describe if a method or a variable, instance variable, or a constant or anything that is available inside the class only or available to the package, anyone in the package, or outside what? The package. Did you get the idea? You decide the visibility of methods and data members. Did you get this? Type. Default, when you give nothing. If you leave it without public, without protected, without private, we call it what? Public when you specify the word what? Private when you specify the word private. Protected when you write protected. And I did not say anything about protected because it's not explainable at this stage. How they are different. Public. Visible everywhere. Default. Visible only what? Inside. Private. Visible only what? So now you understand when you see public or private or protected or whatever. طبعا protected is only available in the package and subclasses, but it's not easy to explain subclasses now. So let us focus on the first three. Public means what? This applies to methods and data members. Default, only in the package. Private, only what? In the class. تمام. Example. We have a package called model, صح? Yes or no? How many classes inside the model package? And another package called what? What's the class in the app? My app. Public members, visible to what? So this here, what do you see first thing here? Package what? Now you know that later you need to pay attention to the package, huh? Because knowing which package you are in, you know which methods are usable in the package or outside the package, huh? Look at this. Public double what? Radius. This radius is public, yes or no? Is it available to the class itself? Yes. Is it available to any other class in the package? Is it available to any other class? So look here, what package you are in? What class you are in? This is another class. Can they access the radius directly? Yes, because the radius is what? So there is no problem accessing radius because radius was initialized or declared what? Public. Type. This is another package. Good? What's the package name? I need to use which class? Import model dot. So now you know how to use another class in another package. صح ولا لا? Import package name and what? طيب. Now circle C2 equals new circle C2 dot radius. It's allowed, صح? Can you change the radius directly? Yes. Radius is public. So even from outside the package, you can directly see it and access it. Do you get this, ya shabab? From outside the package, you can see it and what? Access it. Type. Same code. But now, radius is what? Is it default? Is it public? So this one is inside the same package. Is there a problem? مشكلة نية صح ولا لا? What about this one now? When you try to use this line, do you see the line? C2.radius, they will tell you what? لا, they will tell you, I don't know what radius is. Why? Radius is a data member in a class in another package, and it's not public. It is not visible to anyone. Only public methods and variables are visible to any other class outside the code. Does that make sense? طيب, private is what? Can you see it outside the class? The concept is clear now. See? Even, is this in the same package? But now what is it? So even you cannot do this inside the same package. Only inside what? Wow. So private variables or instance variables cannot be seen outside the class. Only the class can see them. So this means only the class can change its values, yes or no? You see? Only the class. Why we need to do this? Wow, this is a huge concept of object-oriented programming. There are variables that you don't want others to see or change. Only you can see or what? This is called data hiding or encapsulation. Not anyone should be given a permission to change every variable or use every method. So, of course, this is not going to be visible outside the class. Fine. Now let's see example and then come back here. We'll restart from here. Now let's see the example here. I'll use the same classes, ya shabab. Tamam? This is what? And let's see the circle. Radius is what here? The default. I'll make it what, amigos? في حد سألني last lecture why not double, صح? Right? طيب, I said later we'll explain it. طيب. Now in circle test, can I see radius? Is it in the same package? طيب, yes. I'll create a new package now. I'll call it app. Good. I'll create a class in which package now? Okay, tester. And it's a good. I need to use the circle from which package? From so import what? Test dot circle. Good. Yellow. Circle C1 is equal to new circle. Is this valid? Type C1 dot radius is equal to 5.5. Tamam. Do you agree? Is it visible? Sys out C1 أظن عنا get area صح؟ في عنا شيء؟ I cannot see get area ليش؟ Wait, there was get area. When has class? Circle. Oh, is it public? Is it visible from outside? طيب استنى I'll make it what? But perimeter is still what? So I'll go to the other package. Yalla. Dot get what? Ya salam. Get what? Now because it's public, it's visible outside what? What about get perimeter? Is it visible outside the package? Because it's default. صح ولا لا? Good. تمام? Yalla, I'll go back to the class. I will remove public. I'll go to tester. There will be an error. Yes or no? What's the error? They say radius ما في معلوم. I don't know what radius is. I don't know what radius is because I cannot see it. It's not visible to me. Is it visible to any class outside? Type this class is in another package. Yes or no? I will go to circle test. Is there a problem here? Why? Same what? Package. Did you get this? So public can be visible everywhere. Default is only visible what? This applies to methods and variables. Do you agree? Is it clear? Good. So hopefully the example is clear. I'll go to this public, and I'll go also to this one and call it what? And save. Once I do save, لاحظوا, the error disappeared from here. And now, can I call get perimeter? Can I call get perimeter? Because I made it what? Is this clear يا شباب? Is that clear? طبعا this applies to methods and what? طيب look at circle. Look at circle. I'll make this what? Private means what? What? Only what? طيب now do you expect to see errors everywhere صح ولا لا? So I'll go to circle text على طول. क्या مشكلة? What's the problem here? What? I don't know what is radius. I don't know what's, because this is not visible to me. طيب I'll go outside the package. What's here? I don't know what's radius because what? So private is visible inside only what? يا شباب, طب the methods are still available because they were what?
Public.
Even here, get area and get perimeter, if I go to the circle and make them default, they are still visible in the same package, yes or no? صح ولا لا? This. But if I make them private, what's gonna happen? Get area. Get area لوحدها. على طول I get error here. Why? Can you access it from outside the class? So you decide who accesses when and what and how. By using the access modifier. This is called access modifier. You want it to be available to everybody, you make it what? You want it to available only to others in the same package, you make it what? You want only the class to be able to visit it and change it and be visible to it, you make it what? Is this clear? So if you see an error from now on, something is not visible, you understand it's an access issue, it's a visibility. And you saw me changing things and errors disappear and appear based on what I'm doing. Does that make sense? Is this clear يا شباب? Okay, tamam, excellent. So I believe you understood the examples. Now let us see why we would do this public-private thing. Type. GPA for student must be between what? 0 and 4. Any other value is what? Invalid. Radius must be non-negative value. صح ولا لا؟ صح؟ طيب. Look here. This is private what? Double. Can you access the radius? لا. Only in the class. طيب. بس أنا to use your class, I need to give you the radius. Okay يا سيدي. I'll allow you to give me the radius. Just give it to me. I will give it to who? The radius. Did you get this? You give me the value and tell me this is the value of the radius. I give it to the radius. Does that make sense? Not you. I give it. I decide first if your value is valid or whatever, or secure or whatever. I then decide to use it or what. But I will not give you the radius and tell you, give the value. Yalla, fill this as the value of the radius. No. Give it to me. I take it. Maybe I need to verify it. صح? Maybe I need to make sure this is a valid student ID first. Maybe I need to make sure this is an allowed value or allowed registration or whatever business logic I need. You know what they do in this case? To protect others' values and hide them. I make almost all data members are usually made what? Private. This is one. يعني you cannot see the values directly Munder. You cannot see the values directly. طيب, it's like I tell you, okay, what do you have? A value for what? Radius? Give it to me here. Then I check it first. Before using it, I do what? Check the radius before using it. Then I decide if it's what? Valid or what? Does that make sense? طيب, how you can give me a value for the radius? تمام? For each data member, and now you say, معلش, يعني this is too much. No, it's not too much. You will see how to do it. For each data member, we make two methods. Two what? One, to set the value, which usually has some validation logic, and one what? To what? When في get radius, ما في get radius? ما في? Okay, we make two methods, but see this one. The method to set the radius is what? But the radius itself, is it? تمام؟ يعني for you to set the value of the radius, you're going to call which method? Can you change the radius directly now? The value C2.radius, can you change it directly, or you just can access it in this method? Right. If you access it inside, the only way to give me a value for radius is set radius method. Up there, can I make an if statement and say if r is less than 0, ignore the value. Otherwise, what? If it's a GBA, can I make sure it's greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 4 and then use it? Otherwise, what? Ignore it. So, providing a method to you means that I can put my logic inside the method and verify if your values are valid or secure or whatever. Yani, I will be in control as a class designer. I will be in control, not you as a class user. Did I answer the question? I know that. Tamam. So let us see what we're going to do here. Look at this. I will do the class, the same class. Where's the class name? This is what? Private, صح? طيب, I want you to see what happens if this is not private. Look at this, يا شباب. Huh? Can you put minus 4.4? Is it valid? No. Can I prevent you if you access the value? If you access the value directly, can I prevent you? No. No. It's okay. So now, what do you think I'll make? I'll make this what? Private. طيب. Then you will be complaining here, but I need to give you the value of what? طيب. Look at this. I'll make a public method. This method returns what? Returns what? Always you need set what? Radius, صح? And what you will send me here? You will send me what? If r is greater than or equal to what? Then what? Radius is equal to what? Else radius is equal to 0. Does that make sense, ya shabab? Does that make sense? Just a second. Does that make sense now? Now, can you set the value with the radius directly? No. Can you say C2.radius? No. Because the radius is what? Private. Can you use the method set radius? طيب. When you use the method set radius, will you be able to give me invalid values? I'm going to ignore all invalid values. صح ولا لا? Does that make sense? This is public. You can use it, but I have my own what? Validation and verification logic. طيب. Let me just finish this and then ask me your question. Let us see this now. Now, I'll go here. Are you allowed to give a value directly to the value now? No. But what's the only way to give a value?
set radius.
Excellent. So the only way is C1 dot set radius. If I give you -4, لا خليك معي. It will remain what? It will remain 0. Let me just remove this. تمام? It will remain what? 0 here. Let me run this. I don't know what the error is. Why? Was it accepted?
No.
طيب. I'll make it 5. Is it going to be accepted? You get this? Now, are you allowed, using this logic, are you allowed to touch the variable radius directly? The only way to give a value to radius is what? Using which method? Set radius. And in set radius, if your value is invalid,
0.
I ignore it. I do whatever. Yani for this example, I make it 0. But other examples, maybe I'll ignore it. Does that make sense? Type wait. I still have another constructor here. But by the way, this one, if you give it -5, it will use it directly. صح? What do you think, guys? Should I do? لا. Set what? I call what? With what? So now, is there a way to give a value to the radius other than set radius method?
No.
Can anyone play with the radius value other than set radius method? So if there is any problem with radius values, where is the only place you check?
The set
Radius. Maybe you need to change your logic. صح ولا لا? Now, see, even this one calls what? Can you see the radius from outside the class? Can anyone give a value directly to the radius? Now, in this example, is it possible to give a negative value to the radius? No. If you use the first constructor, you must use what? If you use the second constructor will use what? So the verification logic is here. Otherwise, why I call this method set radius from the constructor? The only other option is to repeat this logic, صح? And repeating logic and code is not a good what? A good programming what? Practice. طيب. Sometimes the user want to see the value of the radius. See the value, no problem. I can let you see the value. But set the value, I can give me the value. How to see the value? What is the data type of radius? So public what? Get what? And this method returns what? Returns what? But this one, there is no change, صح? Is there any change to the value? So get radius. Are you setting any values or just getting? Getting, no problem. I'll give it to you. But setting, you give it to me, I verify it, and then what?
Check it.
I use it if I want. So now, radius is private. This is radius. It's private. No one can what? Directly touch it. You want to give it a value? Give me the value. I verify it and then give it to radius if it's what? If it's not, I ignore it or do whatever. Do you want to know the radius? Okay, you call which method? I give it to you. But can you change it? Get allows you to change anything. But set usually to give a value to a variable. Get to what? So now, in your classes, most of the time, you will what? You will make your data members or class variables or those attributes what? Private. And provide two public methods for each attribute. There's not much coding in it. I'll show you how to do it. Jaldi, huh? So, but making them private, and in the set logic, what you're going to provide, ya Hafiz? Validation and verification. صح? In the get, you give it to the user. Can the user touch the variables directly? Only the logic of the class, the one you designed, will be able to do that. Let us see this now.
هو نفس السيتر وجيتر بايثون.
هم سيتر وجيتر هدول. هم البايثون كانوا موجودين لما هم هدول سيتر وجيتر. تمام. طيب, I will go to another example now. What is this? Yalla, I will do everything we did before to what? Now, how many attributes here I have? Width and what? طيب, خليكم معي. Yalla. This is no longer going to be what? This is going to be what? Private. طبعا after 10 minutes, I'll do it automatic. Now, let us do with width. Private. Void. Usually, the set method is void. Set what? Set width. Do you see the way I use names?
Why is the set private?
لا sorry, public. بكون أفكر بكتير شغلات ومرات ونشرح. Double W. يلا, what to do here? If what? W is greater than or equal to what? 0, then what? Width is equal to what? Else what?
Width equal 0.
Width equal 0. Now you set the width. I have my logic. Yalla. Public. What is the width type? Double. Get what? Get width. This will return what? So whenever you want the width, you call which method? Whenever you want to set the width, you call which method? طب استنوا شوي. What is this? Double width. Now, should I use this or do what? Ya salam. Set width what? W. Good. طب يلا. I'll copy these things. And now set what? Get what here? Set length. صح? Double what? L. And what? Yalla. If L, then what? Length is equal to what? L. Otherwise, length is equal to what?
0.
And here I will say get what? Length and return what? Now, here also what? What? Here, if L is greater than or equal to 0, صح? Greater than or equal. يعني 0 is valid, by the way. يعني. تمام? خليك معنا هلا. Now here, what should I use? Set what? Length L. Now خليكم معي. Now, can you set these values directly? Okay. Can you set them from this method? Can you set them from the constructor? Yes, but the constructor will again use which methods? So where is rectangle test here? خلينا نشوف. طيب, here now, rectangle, this one, get area. Let me say I need to change R1 dot. Do you see width now? Do you see it? Do you see it? No width, no width, because it's not, it's private. So if you want to change it, which method to use? And give me the value, ya Sayyidi. Tamam. R1 dot set what? Set what? Set length and give me a value. Does that make sense? So the only way, even if you use it from the constructor, inside the constructor, I use what? Set, صح? And if you use this, the logic is there. There is no way that you give me invalid or corrupt data. صح ولا لا? So you make what, ya shabab? You make what? You make all the attributes what? Private. And for each attribute, you give it what? One. Okay, both are public. One to set and one to what? Usually inside the set, you will have some logic. Not all methods need setting. Not all. Sometimes you decide, no, I don't want. Now let me go to the student. Does that make sense? بس يا شباب, I'll not make this manually. I'll create a new class and show you. I deleted what here? Did I delete the class? خليكم معي. I'll delete even the tester. Does that make sense? I need to show you how to allow Eclipse to help you. New what? class. I'll call it what? student class. ماشي وبس خلاص. What are the attributes؟ ولا ما فيش name هلا كله ايش؟ private string what؟ L name صح. private what؟ string F name. private double what؟ private string email صح. يا شباب خلاص بس you don't need to write anything. مصدقين ولا you don't need to write anything in the class. You can ask Eclipse to make this for you, and you can ask Eclipse to do it for you if you understand what you are doing. But if you are just playing ومره بتزبط معك و10 اوف سايد و3 الفار بلغيهم و4 تمام, you now understand what you are doing. طيب how many constructors you need here? I need 2 constructors. For example, طبعا انا ناسي من وين هو, بس استنوا شوي, صار لي سنه ومش مدرس جافا. generate what? constructor using what? fields. wow. بس قبل constructor I want to make a setter and getter for each what? معلش لو سمحتوا. I want to set a getter setter before the constructor. I want to set getter and setter for each what? طيب source, what do you see here? generate what? لمين? if you want all of them, شو رايكم? good. But now at least you understand what I'm doing, the concepts for me. ما خلص, from now on we will hardly write code, long code. It will all be design. استنى شوي, مرات لازم اخلص اللي بصدري عشان برتاح وقتها. Do you see this? Do you see this يا شباب? What did I do manually? What is the only thing I did manually? I divided the attributes. Do you remember how many times before going to this class, last class, I asked you what are the attributes, what's their data type, what will, تمام. طبعا now لو فرضنا set GBA, what is set GBA? Now you can go here and say if what? If GBA is greater than, you can put your logic here. Please don't ask me what is this. I'll answer it later. Don't worry about it. Consider it not available. So now I'll go back to Eclipse. What do you want? Constructor? Yalla. Source, generate constructor using what? What fields you want in the constructor?
All of them.
لا تقعدش تحكي all of them. We want to. أعطاني واحد فيه إيش؟ 2. طيب بعد شوي I need another constructor that has how many? I go to Mr. Eclipse, generate constructor using what? I select the 3 of them. Good. طبعا it did not do chaining. Now I go to the constructor. I tell it, yeah, Mr. Eclipse, generate constructor using field and none. Is none, what does none mean? Default. حتى I can take it and put it what? Yalla. Now, is this doing chaining, bright chaining for me? Don't worry about super, Now, what should I do here? This what? L name, comma. طبعا هلا فاهمين. I don't have to explain this. Okay, good. Yalla, I'll make a fully parameterized constructor. Generate what? Constructor using field, all of them now. So now what should I do here? This what? L name what? F name what? And what? GBA. طيب استنوا شوي. Okay, استنوا شوي. تمام. طب here, how they set the GBA? ما بدي هيك. I want to use which method? Set what? Set GBA. Do you agree with this? يعني you add your own, but writing the code is not, see? All this code was written in 3 minutes. لو أنا ما بشرح, if I'm not explaining to you, I will do it in 50 seconds, less than 40 seconds even. Because you know the design, yes. Yalla, let's do a car. Yalla. A new class. I'll call it what? A new class. Call it, okay, car. Yalla. هلا, we just need to spend what? Yalla. Private what? String. Name. احنا okay. Private. Here مش name حتى make يسموها. What? Private what? Double price. تمام. يلا برايفت وات انتجر year صح. برايفت هي color مش راح يكون string بس خليها string تمام. ايوه يعني can be. what else برايفت وات دبل هورس باور. يحب تموتوا في الهورس باور صح ولا لا؟ رايت ماشي. هورس باور كم حصان يعني على حساب مهندسين بدرس صح. ماشي الحال. so now يلا I want sitter and getter for everything. يلا put your timer on. يلا source generate what. هلا بنقول له كلهم خلصهم صح. يلا بدي constructor what to do in the constructor. put it here. source what generate constructor using fields. I only want the first three. does that make sense؟ هاي موضوع تاني. but this code was written in 15 seconds. yes or no? Does that make sense? But you understand it, so it's not your problem. Is not going to be writing code from now on. Designing what? We will repeat the same things you learned before, and now you are going to design them. So my point is, Anna, we will go back and finish this topic. Now you know that in your classes, you will make most data members what? And for each one provide what? Get and set, and make sure you what? If they okay. يا شباب protected صعب اشرحها. It's not easy to explain protected now. Protected is for subclasses. It works for classes in the same package or subclasses outside the package. Since I don't teach you what subclasses at least for the next 2 weeks, now we are not going to use protected. تمام يعني okay ماشي الحال. This is just to make the tutorial complete. Look at this now. Circle. You remember this example? I have a new circle ab. It's not a class. Okay, protected members package and what? يعني is that even protected يا شباب. If the subclass even outside the package it's gonna view it. تمام ماشي الحال. I'll skip protected. So now for each data member you make what? You make setter and getter, and you do your validation code inside what? Setter and getter. ماشي الحال. So now let us take the next topic, which is what ايش هو كان I think this صح؟ يا سلام ايش في عنا؟ I have a very nice video about which what? This. يلا you can understand it in 3 minutes. يا شباب this means what? This means what? The current object. And this. The object whose method is being what? Called. You will see this a lot. You remember self in Python? خلاص. Here in Java, self is what? We can refer to any member of the current object from what? Time. Not always needed. You don't need this. It's actually really صراحة for professional programming and academic work, you need it. Let me show you one. Now, here, what's the name? Radius of the data member. In the constructor, you send R, صح? So R is the value that's coming from the user as a parameter. And radius is the data member of the class, yes or no? So radius is equal R. No problem, صح ولا لا؟ تمام؟ ماشي؟ Good. So no problem at this level. Everything is clear. R is a variable that's coming from outside. No confusion in this example. Not needed. صح? يلا. Let us see this now. يلا. Look. What do you see here? See here, still the name is radius, but the parameter that's passed to you also name is what? طيب. You can say never name the parameter same name, but this is not professional. Now we have radius, that's a parameter of a constructor, and we have radius, that's the data member of this class. صح ولا لا? So which is which? Which one? If you use this code, your program will work incorrectly because the compiler will see two radiuses. It's like seeing a twin and he doesn't know who's Zaid, who's Abed. You get my point? But now the compiler will generate some errors. They call it shadowing the ladder. يعني it will not be easy to differentiate this from that. طيب. هلا the blue radius is the data member that belongs to which class? Circle. طيب بس خلاص هلا I think the problem, is it clear the problem? Look at this one. This is a problem. Radius, the red radius and the blue radius are not clear which one is what. And they call this shadowing. على فكرة, the output will be wrong. Area is what? What do you see output here? But is it zero actually, the area? تمام. See, the area is what? Oh, why the area is zero? Because the radius is still zero, because the compiler is confused between this and what? خلصنا. Now I think we explained the problem, then the solution becomes what? Easy, صح? So now, when you say this radius means what? Do you get this? This one is something that's coming from outside. صحيح, both have the same name, but when you say this radius means what? The radius, mine, the one inside the object. You know that in two houses sometimes you have Muhammad and Muhammad, صح? And you say Muhammadna, Muhammadhum, right? Muhammadna is what? Did you get this? Yani you have it even between brothers and صح ولا لا? You have said Muhammadna wa, right? Good. So this means what? Two things with the same name, but ours we always gonna use what? To differentiate. Here you must use it. Here you must use it. Because you have what? Here, inside this method, it's optional to use it, by the way. Whether you use it is fine. But here what? Here, على فكرة, if you do this radius, fine. You will find programmers always use this. راح أحكي لكم السبب شو هو. Why programmers always use this? Because they are lazy. Because when you type this dot, it gives you all the methods and what? You get this? Did you see that? But in the constructors here, both here and here, is it optional? If you don't use this, is there going to be shadowing? But here there is no shadowing. But you still can use what? And now you know why programmers are lazy, and sometimes they use it. And myself, I use it everywhere. So if it's this, and just for quick, when you type this, you get everything, so you select the first character and that's it. Tamam, look at this now. Is the output correct this time?
Yeah.
Yes. Why? Because no shadowing. You understood shadowing in the previous class slides, صح ولا لا? طيب. And I showed you this, صح? When we talked about constructors, صح? But I said, if you use constructors inside, if you use this inside constructors, it means you are calling what? You are calling what? Chaining, huh? Look at this now here. See how you call the other constructors. Do you see it now? Is this clear? See the third constructor here. This, first, last. So you are chaining, huh? So inside the constructor, you can use the word this for what? Calling other constructors. This, you are calling this, and this one is calling that. Does that make sense? So inside the constructor, you can use it to call what? طيب يلا, look at this now here. يلا. Public what? Radius. Do you see it? You to invoke what? Methods. Circle. Oh. عرفتوا ليش? I can do this without what? But it's doable always to do this dot what? And what else? This dot what? return math. What here? Print circle. This dot what? I'm calling method. It's optional, really. يعني مش, it's not a must, and no errors if you don't use it. But programmers usually go for it.